Hey everybody, I'm Nick Armstrong. I am the lead organizer of Fort Collins Comic Con, and here with me I have Kira and Matt, who are our volunteer coordinators. We're going to talk to you about how to volunteer for Fort Collins Comic Con, and we are so thrilled to have you with us this year, or maybe thinking about joining us this year, and we have a lot of information that you will want to know about. So first, let's talk about what is Fort Collins Comic Con. If you've never been before, Fort Collins Comic Con is 2 full days of panels and excitement and lectures and vendor hall excitement and cosplay and you name it. If you've seen it at a comic convention, it is here at Fort Collins Comic Con. So we have about 3,000 attendees. We have between 60 to 100 and some plus volunteers each year. We have about 75 panels and 5 Deadpools. Each year we pick a different beneficiary. For the last couple of years, it's been the Poudre River Public Library District. This year, it's the Alliance for Suicide Prevention of Larimer County. And every badge sold helps benefit the beneficiary. So why volunteer? Well, volunteers are the lifeblood of Fort Collins Comic Con, and we really cannot do what we do without you. In fact, Kira and Matthew both started as volunteers, and before that, attendees probably. And Kira, did you join us as an attendee or a volunteer first?
I think I was an attendee at starting from the very first Fort Collins Comic Con.
Matthew, what about you?
I started volunteering during the second year.
It's a big fun time for everybody involved, and we wouldn't do it if we weren't passionate about it. Really, volunteering is an easy way to get into Fort Collins Comic Con for free. And it's also one of the best ways to give back to the con if you've just enjoyed going as an attendee. You can cosplay as a volunteer. You can come to fun after parties. There's all sorts of cool swag that we have specifically for volunteers, and even a green room where you can relax and have some snacks and some drinks and then return back to helping the con and community. Volunteering can be fun. You can cosplay while you're volunteering. The only thing you might not want to do is wear a mask while you're volunteering so that people can hear you clearly. You can even volunteer as a family group. If your kiddos are under the age of 13, they should probably be with you, but otherwise you can volunteer all together as a family. So let's meet the organizing team really quickly. I'm Nick Armstrong, the lead organizer. Mayette, who is the programming coordinator, Todd Jones, who is the vendor coordinator, Ben, who is your on-site chaos coordinator. You'll see him running around and just doing what needs to be done. Kira and Matthew, who are our volunteer coordinators. Nova, who is one of our cosplay coordinators, along with Jackie and Percy. And then we've got Cess, who is our arts coordinator, Ruth, who is on our outreach team, and Nathan Scott, who is an advisor. And now you are part of our team as well. And so a lot of our volunteers go through the volunteer process and decide, I want to try something new. I want to try something really cool. I want to grow the con in a new way. And one of the ways that they do that sometimes is by putting on new events. Sometimes it's by becoming coordinators. Some of the volunteer created events that we've had so far, the Kessel Run, the Star Wars themed 5K, the Couch to 5K Kessel Runners program, the Cosplay Catwalk, and Cosplayground Showcase as well, and also Create Your Own Superhero Day. All of those were created by our volunteers and maintained by us as an organization. So I'm going to hand it off to Kira and Matt to talk about day of volunteer roles.
So programming is pretty much just simply putting the panels and making it smoothly. Whether you're setting it up, tearing it down, just make sure that the panelists get what they need and helps shift into the next panelist. We try to get it about 5 minutes mark and about 10-minute mark for panelists before we do tear down. A bit of like a warning. Tech support also goes back into panelists in what they need to make sure they have, say, projectors, cords that they need, or even computers. If you have any questions about that, make sure to talk to one of us, one of the staff members. Superhero training camp, pretty much with that, you just have to set it up, watch the kiddos, make sure no one get hurt, and making sure everybody has a fun time. And with the 8-Bit Lounge, You just have to make sure that everybody's treated fairly in the space itself. You also have to make sure that everybody's getting a turn, everybody's just having a fun time.
The words, let me try that again. We have several different roles that are check-in related as well. The primary one that I started out doing as a volunteer is running the check-in tables. So if you sign up for helping out at check-in tables, what you'll be doing is sitting at one of the tables right at the entrance to the con and helping people pick up their badges or purchase them if they want to get their badges day of, and directing them into the con. So you'll be the first face that people see. We also have a number of roaming volunteers who will hold up a big Ask Me sign and will just kind of do general answering questions for anyone who might be lost or needs a program or directions to the restroom or stuff like that. We have volunteers who help in parking, basically directing people in the right direction to park, monitoring how full the lot is. And we have people handling check-in for the cosplay catwalk. The cosplay catwalk is always a lot of fun. I haven't volunteered with it personally, but participated and watched it. So our volunteers will help with rearranging the room, getting the chairs all in order for people to watch the catwalk, as well as checking people in who are going to participate in the catwalk and making sure that's all ready to go.
So vendor support. With vendors, you want to make sure that they get what they need from the green room, whether or not it's drink, it's foods, maybe they need to take a bathroom break, therefore you should help set the booth. You're not allowed to take sales for them, however, just let them know that they'll be back within like 10 minutes. Pretty much just let the vendor get what they need and making sure that everything just goes smoothly. With green room support, if you're in the green room, you want to make sure that everything stays calm. Everyone just has a chance to kind of relax. It's meant to be more of a quieter place. And you're just pretty much watching over the green room, making sure no one takes too much, making sure that everybody who's in there is supposed to be in there, because we don't allow attendees in there unless it's an emergency and they need to calm down. Yeah.
And the last category of volunteer roles that we have during the weekend of the con is an assortment of different setup and tear down tasks. So the day before the con, we'll have people running around getting things set up, pulling out chairs for the rooms, setting up the vendor hall, really just getting everything in order. A lot of moving things around. Teardown is the opposite of that, putting everything away. Room transitions is you'll be rearranging the rooms in between panels. Maybe the next panelist wants to have some space for people to run around. I know we've had some interactive panels before, including LARPing a number of times. So we'll have some transitions where we take chairs away and put them back again. And finally, we have a lot of signs and banners that we want to set up.
If you don't know the answer, best thing to do, find a staff member. Ask any questions that you need. We are sure to get you an answer, whether or not we have to deliberate and amongst ourselves, or we just have to wing it. If you also have any questions about your station, make sure to use your task cards for help. It's pretty much written right there. If you have any more questions about the task, again, find one of the staff members. And as always, be kind, helpful, and considerate. We're all people.
And a few more keys to success as a volunteer. Should you encounter any children that do not appear to have a guardian with them, please make sure to escort them to the info desk. We will generally be instructing parents who have lost their children to look for them there as well. And this next one is really important. Remember to take breaks. This applies to walking around the con as well as volunteering. Hydrate and eat snacks and sit down if you need to, so you don't burn yourself out, especially if you're volunteering in one of the positions that is going to be outside. Definitely make sure you drink enough water, because we don't want anyone fainting on us. That would not be fun. And finally, we would like for you to show up 15 minutes before your shift in order to check in so that we can know that you're there and ready to fill your role. When you check in for your shift, which you will do at the front check-in table, you will swap out your attendee badge for a volunteer badge. Do your shift, and at the end of your shift, make sure to check out and swap your badge back for the attendee badge to enjoy the rest of the con. And if your volunteer shift is only on Sunday, you should be sure to come to the con Saturday, and you can check in, let the person at the table know that you're volunteering, but your shift isn't on Saturday, and they'll give you an attendee badge so you can attend the con on Saturday and then come back for your shift on Sunday and swap it out.
Uncomfortable? Always report to security first, then report to us. It's more important that we have somebody on it, and security is the best people for that. Just report to us also so that we know what is going on.
And that's true of any harassment also. We make sure that if somebody is feeling uncomfortable, we separate the parties and make sure that security is alerted so that everybody feels safe while they're attending Fort Collins Comic-Con. And that's true if you're being harassed too. If somebody is harassing you or being mean to you, let us know. We'll make sure that security handles it, and then we'll talk about it as a staff to see what we need to do to deal with it. If you're interested in volunteering in a more offline capacity, maybe you're an extreme introvert, that's just fine too. We've got so many different things that you can do to help us, from everything from helping to align programming tracks and info gathering and talking to panelists, to the social media aspect of the con, gathering pictures, posting them online, writing captions and things like that, to our street team who goes to booth for us at particular events, travels to cons, and hangs out and does the cool work. Kira, you were just at Greeley Monster Days. What was that experience like?
It was pretty fun. A lot of watching people go by in costumes and handing out cards for Fort Collins Comic-Con. It was especially fun when people were walking by and paused when they saw our booth, and you could see the gears kind of clicking in their brain, and then you hear them say, "I didn't know Fort Collins had a Comic-Con."
Oddly enough,
fun.
the most common comment that we get, but still we're here, and it's a fun time. You can even help out with offline vendor communication, map setup, info gathering from vendors as well. So if you have a soft spot for artists, authors, creators, this is the role for you as well.
If you have any more questions about what to expect from volunteering, or any volunteer questions, you can go ahead and shoot us an email at volunteers@fococomiccon.com, and that will go to all three of us so we can get back to you and alleviate your anxieties.
Don't
I'm not really
promise
sure where that sentence was going.
Alleviate your anxieties. Look, we're not Xanax, but we're pretty good. See you at the
See you at the
con.
con.
Con.